Okay, so for today's lesson, we are going to be evaluating expressions. These are things that you should remember from last year. A variable, I think you know, is just a letter which is used to represent one or more numbers. Obviously, any letter will do, but in algebra, we tend to really focus on the letters like X. That's example. Usually X's are used a lot, Y's are used a ton. You guys sometimes tend to use the N's. All of those are fine. If we have an algebraic expression, that's a collection of numbers, variables, and operations. Operations meaning add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, so these are expressions. These are not equations. So there are no equal signs. So an example here would be something like, I don't know, 5x minus 3. But remember, this is not an equation. An expression does not contain equal signs. An equation does. So these are expressions, no equal signs anywhere. When you evaluate an expression, what you want to make sure that you do is that you substitute a number for the variable. You're going to perform the operation or operations, and then you're going to simplify the result if necessary. Okay. Then we get into stuff with powers and exponents, that kind of thing. So a power is an expression that represents repeated multiplication of the same factor. So repeated multiplication, as I slide down on the bottom. The base is the number or the expression that's used as a factor. That's the number that gets multiplied by itself. In the repeated multiplication, and the exponent is the number, or it could be an expression. You can have a variable, believe it or not, in the exponent that represents the number of times the base is used in a factor. So base is used as a factor, excuse me. So if we had something that looked like this, 5 to the third, that the base, this is the base, 5. This right here is the exponent, and you would use that base 5 as repeated multiplication times itself 3 times. So this is the exponent. Sometimes we call it the power. And again, if you were to actually do this, you would be doing repeated multiplication with that 5 3 times. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of examples. So you want to evaluate the expression when y equals 8, and as simple as this may be, we do want you to show what you're plugging in for the variables. So this would become 7 times 8, and we all know is 56. If we do 2 divided by y, I'm going to rewrite it in fraction form, 2 divided by 8. I'm not looking for decimals, I just want you to simplify the fraction. If we do y minus 10, it's 8 minus 10, and we also deal with integers. There's your negative 2. And then if we do y plus 6, 8 plus 6, 14. If we write the power in words and as a product, you on your paper, this is actually incorrect, but you should have 7 with an exponent of 5. So in words, this would actually be 7 to the 5th power. Let me spell that correctly. 5th power, which basically just means 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, right? So it's repeated multiplication 5 times. This next one, you could write a couple different ways. You could write it as 1/3 to the 2nd power. If we use the exponent in our words, we would actually do 1/3 squared. So we would write 1/3 squared. And then mathematically, this would be 1/3 times 1/3. We're not being asked to evaluate. We're being asked just to write it as a product. And then this last one that's right here would be, it's 1.4, but mathematically this is really 1 4/10. So 1 4/10. tenths, and this is actually cubed. Okay, to the third power is fine as well. And then just because we have got a whole bunch of decimals here, I'm going to use parentheses to show my repeated multiplication. When it comes time to evaluate expressions, we want you to substitute in the value for the variable and then show whatever work is necessary. So t squared when t is 3, this becomes 3 squared, or 3 times 3, or 9. On this next one, m to the fifth, when m equals 1/2. So I've got 1/2 to the 5th power, and I know that when I do 1/2 to the 5th power, I'm multiplying the fraction 5 times. And when you multiply fractions, you always multiply all the numerators together, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, and then the denominators together, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And you end up with 1/32, 1 over 32. And then we've got this next one, x cubed when x is 4. And then in this case, we've got 4 cubed, which is 4 times 4 times 4, and there we've got 64. So these are some examples that you'll see in this homework tonight. In the homework, you see that there's only specific problems that you're going to be doing. Okay, and that homework is attached here. So it's nice if you can show some of your work here. The idea is to maybe work without a calculator. We don't use a lot of calculators in the Algebra 1 class for things like this. You should be able to do stuff on your own. Okay, so there you go. Good luck on your homework.